want to tell us what we're in for tonight? What we're going to see?
Well, I thought we would take a walk. I don't know how far we want to go up through here and circle around and come out onto the Square Pond Road. Go across the road, maybe look at the foundations over there of the old town farm, the original. That's the original over there, I guess, isn't it, Bill? That's the original start of
140 acre town
farm.
Yeah.
There's some trails. Yeah. We got trails. As you get out here ways, you'll see trails go out through, they get down through, there's one that ends up way down on the end there, and another one, they all, there's trails all through that. And they're four-wheeler trails, most of them. They get in there and whatever they got you can't keep them off in it, I mean, very well. But it's some places are cut hard than others. What happened, this was cut after that big windstorm of September of
98, was it 98?
No, just recently, a couple of years ago.
Okay, you had another one. Okay.
Yeah, we had another one come up through here, and it tipped a lot of timber down up through here, and you'll see some thin spots. Quite a lot of thin spots, but we can't help that. We took the trees out, and then, of course, the fellow bunch of pulled them trees right out by the roots, most of them, and cut them off, then threw the roots off someplace, and so. But we're finding with these new techniques they're cutting with now that we can do quite a good forestry practice going in these areas and going right into a young stand with some big trees in it. That thing will sit right in and go right down the bottom and clamp it, hug it, I call it hug it, clamp it and cut it off and bring the tree right out without dumping it down into all the young stuff, Very, don't you think so, Peter?
Yeah, they can move the tree back out and lay it down.
Lay it down in an opening and bring them down to a landing right here, And
how many acres were harvested?
This is 40.
This is 40, and how
Well, I haven't been out through there, but the other day I come up with my truck, I come around that corner, and here's two little deer standing right beside the road. Little fellows, last year's deer. Sitting there looking at me, and I looked at them, and they trotted off up through, so there's deer around here. There's deer all over this. And this will bring in deer in, too, where they're cutting like this, where they come into these, they'll take all these little shoots from over there and clip them off, and for feed.
I was conceived around in the early 50s. Conceived in the early 50s, and a group of people in the town introduced an article in the warrant to have it become a town forest. And it took about 5 years before they got around to actually doing it.
Did people have a plan right from the start, or did they kind of learn as they went?
No, of course, originally it was just 140 acres, one lot, over there, which was a town farm lot. But then gradually they got these other parcels in here on both sides here.
And whose idea was it to invest and buy additional land?
Well, Lawrence Ferguson was one of the early pushers of the town forest, and a selectman named Pike was another one.
And was there ever an attempt that to use the money for something else?
Oh yes. There were some people that thought we ought to get those land right on the tax rolls and collecting money from taxes, not thinking about all the services the town has to provide to house lots and schooling for children, roads, maintenance, fire protection, police protection, and so forth.
And so,
if you can get a good seed year, and if you can get a good catch of pine seedlings and carry this stuff until the seedlings are, 15, 20 feet high.
Okay.
And once you get a well-established understory, then maybe come out here and start taking out the overstory.
Okay.
But, carry this stuff for now and let's see what we can get for regeneration. But it looks like these trees are getting old.
Oh yeah, they're old. That's an old tree right there.
And all those black knots tell me that.
Okay.
So.
Once a tree loses its top in a storm, does it ever, is that the end of it? I mean, eventually it'll get rotted in the center, or does it?
Yeah, some of these have lost their tops, Lee. Up there,
I started
nose,
them back.
there.
They lost some of the top.
I mean, it's still growing.
We took out some
There
of them.
could be a column of rot down in
Didn't
there.
want to take that many.
That's a pathway for fungal attack and wood decay fungus. But I think that's very slow, that progression. It's also being managed for recreation and aesthetics, and people like to come out and see big trees, so there's other things going on out here besides timber production.
Well, what I'm appreciating right now is how they've acquired these multiple parcels that have really added up nicely, and it's given the town a real nice resource of trails and healthy forests, and abuts up against a state piece. So, I mean, that's the best way for a town to do it, is to start small and just keep acquiring, and eventually they can build up a real nice, multiple 100-acre forests. And they seem to have cultivated willingness among the townsfolk to invest in this and keep it. So I'm excited to walk and see the trails and how the neighborhood uses it, etc.
What are the varieties of uses that towns make for their town forests?
I think it's not very different than any private landowner. Certainly many towns enjoy the revenue that can be generated from timber management and good forestry practices. And recreation is equally high in the interest typically. And then also an increasing interest in just conserving good pieces of land, especially for connectivity and wildlife habitats, and really just kind of taking care of our natural resources and making sure that houses don't take up all of our natural resources and lands.
What can you tell people who are unfamiliar with forestry, who are nervous about it?
Yeah, the visual impacts are certainly a concern for folks who don't have experience with land ownership or with forest management. And the best way to teach folks about that is to really just remind them that we're really talking long-term, and you need a long-term perspective. The visual impacts of even a good harvest are immediate and can be surprising to folks. And in 5 years it will look different, and in 10 years it will look better, and in 15 years it will look better, and in 20 years you won't be able to tell. Many of our songbird species need some younger forests for their different habitat needs, not just older forests. And that can be said of lots of mammal species as well.
Is there something that towns that are just getting started can learn from a veteran?
Sure. I think what we try to tell kind of novice towns is the first thing you need is interest and passion, and follow that up with good leadership. And it's evident that they've had this for some time with a strong commission. So that's really the best thing for people to begin with. And then, the townspeople kind of get to know that, yeah, this would be a good idea, and they get behind it. And then there's lots of, resources that towns can find to help them acquire land and start a good local program.
This is just really nice looking woods here.
Oh yeah, we got some nice mixture of everything.
Mostly pine.
Mostly pine. There's some oak growing. these trees, you know, they don't grow overnight, you know. There's a little small growth rings on some of them, you know, just about that. You cut a tree down and sit down and count them, and boy,
They grow slow.
depends what year. If they get a lot of rain, sometimes the old growth rings are pretty good, you know, but a lot of moisture. But this year, I don't know what's going to happen.
In most towns, the towns would have said this kind of property with road frontage is the most likely place for houses and not for town forests.
Exactly.
And so you made a conscious decision in this town.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And why this particular area over some others, I'm not exactly sure. But it was available at the time, and Bill Hutchins, again, was a really formidable force in getting hold of the pieces of property and saying, this is something we really should do.
But there are no utility. I have not seen any. So there are no power lines here. So there's no.
Well, actually, there are, but a little bit further down the road.
Okay.
Because there were no houses, and there were no houses for long, long years. But of course, you know, where North Shapleigh was a very active area, there was a shoe shop, there was a dance hall, there were factories there, and nobody actually lived there except in the bunkhouses. And when those places kind of fell away, people were like, well, who the heck wants to live in the woods? Well, a few of us do, and we love it. It's just great.
How many people do you think lived at the town farm?
How many think I lived there? No, for most town farms, 15, 20 probably. A lot of men, a lot of women. They didn't have any nursing homes then. No nursing homes. It was all town farm. Every town had a town farm. And you took care of your own.
And it's hard to imagine what it would have been like. But
And if you were capable, you get out in the spring and you get out and tied the garden, worked in the garden, and that's how they had all kinds of fresh vegetables. I'm sure they had all the stuff. Planted potatoes, they ate a lot of potatoes then.
just trying to think about, you know, maintaining a farm, as we look around it now, it's like, obviously the trees weren't here.
But this is clear.
Yeah, it's all
This
clear.
is old farm country. All
Have
this
you thought
country,
about clearing this a little bit and doing a tiny bit of
this
interpretation?
years ago, this
Yeah,
country was all clear.
Definitely have to. We've been at it year after year, but we didn't do much on this side last year. And we started to concentrate on the other side because it's
Oh, yeah.
just such a
Well, you have to
disaster.
take care of that.
But
But you could get
We're
the
gonna
oxen in here to do a nice,
Sure.
easy, light on the land, right?
yeah, exactly.
Back when I was a kid, every town, Sanford had a town farm,
That's right.
Shapleigh had a town farm, Acton, I suppose, had one.
Yeah, we had one in our town. I know I've heard of it.
Yeah, town farm. That was a nursing home then.
Yeah.
They call it nursing homes, you know.
Yeah.
But and people, if they're capable of doing anything, the men were capable of doing anything. They put them out in the morning and they probably cut wood, buck saws, I don't know, whatever. There's no chainsaws then, no. There's no chainsaws, all buck saws and axes. Boy, it must have been tough living. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it, but I do. But
Yeah. And that was for the 30-year-olds.
yeah, maybe I don't know. There was some.
By that time, they were worn out.
I don't know. We need some more town farms around. We need something to keep the young people busy.
We had this property. Wouldn't it be nice if we could actually share it with the community and anybody who came to vacation and thought that we should have a nature trail, a conservation trail to come through. So they started back then to literally just chip away a little at a time. He was involved, Charles Gruber was involved, Madge Baker, a parcel of other people. And at one point in time, it became the responsibility of the Conservation Committee to simply maintain it. And as things change, as we get blowdowns like this, we're thinking more and more we need additional help. So that's where the Boy Scouts are coming in. They've been offered to help.
Nice.
And it was really nice to have young Michael Rue and his oxen come through and haul out some stuff for us. It's a multi-use forest. We do have areas where snowmobiles go through, where ATVs go through, but not in this section of the town forest. I think where you've cut off at that point over there, Ralph, there's more traffic than motorized traffic than there is foot traffic. But through here, it's all foot traffic.
And if this hadn't been taken over by the town forest and hadn't been bought. There'd been all houses all along here, all the way around Cedar Drive and out through. There'd been.
You must feel kind of proud about how this has come along.
Oh, well, sure. Everybody in town is. Yeah.